Okay, 2021, the year of a million dunks. No joke, we've seen so many Nike dunks this year that making this top 10 list was actually pretty tough. Now, of course, because we have so many different options when it comes to Nike dunks, I thought, well, hey, a top 10 list would be a great idea. So, of course, that's what we're doing here today, guys. I'm going over my top 10 favorite Nike dunks from 2021, and of course, that includes the collaborations, the regular ones, the SBs, the highs, the lows, all of it. Now, before jumping into the top 10 list, I do want to say a massive thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for being a part of this channel. We're about to hit 50K over here, and it's just insane. It is just insane to think 50K, considering where I started and how long it took me to get to this point. I just want to say thank you for being a part of this. But with that being said, let's get into this top 10 list. Alright guys, at the number 10 spot on my list is the Nike Dunk Low UNC. I would say this UNC color blocking is almost the colorway of 2021. We've seen so many different sneakers with this light blue on it, Jordan 4s, Jordan 1s, and it looks great on a Nike Dunk Low. So I think the UNC Nike Dunk Low has to be number 10 on this list, and a great option if maybe you're looking to get another pair of Nike Dunks, or hey, maybe you have this pair, you should be pretty happy with it. Alright, number 9 on the list. This is where things start to get a little bit crazier because again, a huge part of Nike Dunk's DNA is the crazy collaborations, and this one is a crazy collaboration. At number 9, we have the City Market Nike Dunk Low. Again, take a look at it. Take a look at all of the different elements and all of the different materials that are involved in this pair of sneakers. It's pretty crazy. I think the Nike Dunk Low City Market not only looks great, but it also implemented the storytelling perfectly with the different materials and the range of colors that it uses as well. So that's why it's number 9 on my list, and I think a great Nike Dunk Low for this year. Alright, at the number 8 spot on my list, listen, we're gonna take a step back from the craziness. We're gonna tone it down just a bit, because at number 8 we have the Nike Dunk Low NBA 75th Anniversary Chicago. Now listen, this is quite a recent pair of shoes. However, after getting it in hand and wearing it around, I just think it is such a great pair of Nike Dunks. They're just wearable. They're super easy to chuck on and just involve with a bunch of different outfits, and I think that's what this Chicago colorway brings to the table. Not only did they step up the material quality from a regular GR pair of Nike Dunks, but I just think that there is a lot of elements to this that make it pretty special. Alright guys, listen, for this next spot on my list, number 7 in fact on my list, we gotta take a step back into Crazy Town because this sneaker just screams craziness. And of course that is the Nike SB Dunk Low What the P-Rod. Of course, I had to add this insanely intricate pair of sneakers to the list. As a Nike Dunk Low, as a Nike SB Dunk Low for that matter, I feel like this one just nails it. So of course, skateboarding legend Paul Rodriguez teamed up with Nike to bring this mashup of some of their past sneaker collaborations that they've done together, and I think, yes, it does look crazy, but at the same time, it also looks beautiful. Number 6 on my list, I think, is a really solid sneaker, and you don't really find too many of this style. And of course it is the Social Status and Nike Free Lunch. Now there was 2 colorways as part of this collaboration. I think both are incredibly solid. My preference would lean towards the chocolate colorway, so that's what I'm going to be adding to this number 6 spot. Now there's a lot to talk about with this sneaker, but I think the main thing that I want to point out is my appreciation for the fact that this is a dunk mid. And of course, like I said, the storytelling when it comes to Nike Dunks is a very important part of the shoe. And I think with this Social Status and Nike Dunk collaboration, I think the storytelling and the design of the sneaker comes together perfectly. And of course, the fact that a Nike Dunk mid doesn't exist outside of this collaboration makes it such a special option for people who really like this cut of sneaker. Number 5 on the list, and listen, this is a sneaker that's everywhere. This is probably, I think by numbers, the most popular pair of Nike Dunks of 2021. Of course, it is the Nike Dunk Low Panda. Again, we're taking a step back, we're getting out of Crazy Town, and we're going back to the simple place of just a regular color blocking on a Nike Dunk Low. And as far as simple, I think this one is the most simple Nike Dunk Low that you could get. I mean, the color blocking is white and black. That is it. Just white and black on a regular GR pair of Nike Dunk Low. But even despite that, this is the most sold pair of Nike Dunk Lows. And I think that popularity is for good reason. It's such an easy pair of Nike Dunks to throw into the rotation. I think they look pretty damn good when you're wearing them. Number 4 on my list is quite a quiet one. This one kind of discreetly dropped earlier this year, and this is the Nike Dunk Low Medium Curry. It's not a collab, it's not an incredibly hyped up pair of sneakers, it's not the most insane in terms of the storytelling either. However, I think just look at it. It is so damn clean. They are so wearable, so workable into different outfits. Number 4 on my list for a really great looking pair of Nike Dunks is the Medium Curry Dunk Low. Now listen, before we get into this top 3, right, I gotta give you some of those honorable mentions I was telling you guys about. We'll make it quick, we'll make it painless. I'm just gonna rattle off some ones that I really liked, but just didn't quite make the top 10. First honorable mention is the Supreme Dunks. I think they look relatively good. If you're a fan of dunks, you probably kind of like these Supreme ones. There's nothing too far from a regular pair of dunks. However, for me, it didn't quite make the top 10 list. I think it's a solid pair of dunks, but nothing too special. Another honorable mention that didn't quite make my list is the Strawberry Cough Nike Dunk High. This is, of course, a very popular pair of shoes for the fact that it got cancelled and then only just released, I think, like a week ago. In general, it's a pretty cool looking pair of dunks, but yeah, just didn't quite make the top 10. Another honorable mention and another great pair of Nike Dunks that have released this year is the Street Hawkers. This is a solid pair of Nike Dunk Lows with a great storytelling aspect to it. However, the look of these is just not really my thing. Like, I do like them and I would wear them 100%, but with the amount of other dunks that we have and the amount of other dunks that I kind of prefer, it just didn't quite make the top 10. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into my top 3, my favorite 3 Nike Dunks that have released here in 2021. The number 3 spot goes to the Nike Dunk and Ambush collaboration. I think most of the colorways were really solid from this Ambush and Nike Dunk collaboration. Particularly my favorite would be the black and white and then the royal colorway. I mean, generally speaking, the design of these is pretty simple. There's not too much that have been changed or strayed from a regular pair of Nike Dunks, so it still has that dunk aesthetic. They've just changed enough to make it really interesting. Number 2 spot is, I guess, a sneaker that I guess a lot of people were kind of expecting to be on this list in some capacity at some level. Now, I personally didn't really expect to put it this high. However, thinking about it and reminiscing on the release, I had to think, well, yeah, it definitely deserves that spot. And of course, it is the Nike and Off-White Dunk Lot, the 50. We had 1 all the way through to 50, pretty much looking exactly the same, of course, except for number 1 and number 50. But as for the rest, number 2 to 49, it is all pretty much gray and white with slight variations in the overlaces and the tongue color and slight variations in terms of the materials, but for the most part, number 2 to number 49, they're pretty much the same. They all released through exclusive access. Different lot numbers were allocated to different regions around the globe. And my personal preference for this collaboration is one of the gray colors. I don't really think it matters too much which one you choose. Those are my favorite. I'm not a huge fan of 1 or 50. Yeah, they're cool, but I would probably prefer to have just one of the gray and white colorways. Number 1 on my list, my favorite dunk of this year to release is the Nike Dunk High Carpet Company. Now listen, this wasn't an easy decision to make. This wasn't a walk in the park. I did have a million different dunks to choose from to add to this top 10 list, and I did put a lot of time and thought into this list, and I still came to the same conclusion every time. The Carpet Company Nike Dunk High is my favorite dunk. And I think as far as a Nike dunk goes, when it comes to the storytelling, the intricate design details, and the elements of this pair of shoes, it was just nailed perfectly. Some materials on this sneaker you can tear away and it changes the color of the shoe. Some reveal different kind of texts on here. So I just think all in all, as far as a Nike dunk, this is an incredible pair of sneakers. But with that being said, that wraps up my top 10 list, my favorite Nike dunks to release here in 2021. I would love to hear your opinion. I'd love to know what you would add to this list or what your favorite Nike dunk is of the entire year. Take a little bit of time, think about it, and then chuck it down in the comment section. But with that being said, hey, I'll see you guys down in the comment section. And of course, I want to thank you so much for coming through, hanging out for yet again another video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one. But until then.